You thought you heard it all. The sad stories that made you cry. The tales of woe that made you ask God why there is such a thing as hardship and poverty. But you haven't heard this story of triumph against the very definition of adversity. You will realize that there is such a thing as redemption. Listen to his story and compare it to yours. You will realize that if he could do it, raise himself from the very depths of despair, your task will seem so much easier. Give a listen to Ruby director Jerome Asico.
Good morning, USANA family! How are you all doing so far? Great? All right! Because today, we will all be heroes. My name is Jerome. I'm 27 years old, and I'm a Ruby director. Mark Twain once said that there are two most important days in our lives. One is the day that we were born, and the other is the day we find out why. When I was 5 years old, I found myself in a life and death situation. I was asked by my mother to buy something from a store just right across the street from our house. It was a busy street, and it was my first time to actually cross a street on my own. So at first, I was fearful, but at the same time, I was so excited because I'm gonna do another first in my life. You know, crossing a busy street when you were a little kid is already a big thing. So there I was, holding the money in my hand, trembling. But I thought to myself, this will be over with in no time. At first it went okay. But then I forgot something. When I was about to cross the street again towards our house, I forgot to look to my left for cars approaching. I just hurriedly ran towards my mother to say, "Mother, I did it." But before I could say that to her, everything around me went black. I got hit by a tricycle, and I was unconscious the whole time. My father brought me to the hospital, and I was fighting for my life. And when I woke up, I was already at the hospital, and the doctor said I was out of danger. But then I realized I could have died. It could have been the end of me. But God has a bigger purpose for my life, and He gave me a second chance. So that's when I started to look for my purpose. It really took me a while to figure it out, but I'm really thankful for God for giving me each and every single day that He let me live. So now let me share to you my story of what I consider my second life. When I was growing up, I grew up in a big family. My father is a carpenter, and my mother stays at home to take care of her 9 children. Growing in a big family with very little or no money was not that easy. A lot of times we found ourselves amidst problems, especially financial struggles. And there are a lot of times that I was deprived of a lot of things. But there is one principle that I learned growing up, and that is the shift of focus. Everybody say focus. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. A lot of times I thought life was so unfair. Why can't I have these toys but my classmates have them? Why can't I afford to go to school's field trips while my classmates go there every single year with their parents? And why is my friend playing with this toy truck bought from the store while I'm stuck playing with improvised toy trucks made from an empty bottle of isopropyl alcohol with wheels cut out from worn-out slippers? But you know what? When you focus so much on what you do not have, you fail to see, appreciate, and use what you do have. I may not have all those things growing up, but what I have is my family, who is teaching me and preparing me for a brighter future ahead. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. I still remember the time when we were forced to leave our house back then. And we cannot afford to rent even a small room for ourselves. Luckily, a family friend allowed us to stay in an abandoned property. Imagine living in this dilapidated house. It's made of old wooden scraps, worn out materials, and it has a rusty and leaky roof, which made it almost uninhabitable. When it rains outside, we also get the rain inside, and we get flooded almost all the time. And because of the fact that we are all still in school, we have a lot of financial struggles. Food was always scarce. There are a lot of times when I have to eat chichiria for ulam. Those you can buy in the store for just 1 peso. But despite of these hardships, my father always reminds us and tells us, God will provide. So weeks after we moved to that house, we saw leafy vegetables such as water spinach or kangkong and gabi to grow in the surrounding of the house. So from then on, we had a lot of kangkong and gabi dishes such as adobong kangkong, ginataang kangkong, sinabawang kangkong, fried kangkong, sauteed kangkong, sarsyadong kangkong, and laing. All of those for our ulam. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. Food then was not the only problem. For 6 months, we had no electricity. So right after school, when I had to study and do my homework, I have to go out to the street and study under the street lights. But that's not me. I got it from Facebook, okay? If you can remember this picture of the child, he's from Cebu and his picture went viral online. When I saw this picture, I thought to myself, hey, I was like that before, but look at what I've accomplished now. Everything is really possible if you have big dreams. And despite all the hardships, I was able to graduate the class valedictorian of our school. In high school, I graduated twice. Not because I was a repeater, but because I graduated from 2 different countries. First, I was able to get a full scholarship from the U.S. Department of State through the American Field Service, or AFS. I was brought to the United States to become an exchange student for 1 full academic year. And I graduated there as a senior, top of my class. And the second one was when I came back to the Philippines and I graduated the class salutatorian. When I was in the States, I saw that there is so much more to life that my family is not yet experiencing. And I don't want to experience it by myself. I want my family to experience it as well. So my dreams became bigger and bigger. Nurses was in demand abroad that time. So I took the course so that I can earn dollars. I was granted a 100% scholarship by maintaining my grades. And in order for me to help provide for my family, I worked as a janitor in a local hospital to clean toilets during summer breaks. Imagine the top honor student cleaning toilets. But I didn't mind because I have big dreams for my family. And after 4 years of studying nursing, I graduated the only cum laude in our school. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. And after graduation, I thought to myself, with the honors that I got and the high grades that I made in school, I might be landing a high-paying job. But I was wrong. My dream of working abroad and Earning dollars collapsed before me when other countries decided to restrict acceptance of nurses from the Philippines. So I ended up being a volunteer nurse. When all is lost, I remembered what my father told me. God will provide. I always believe that everything is possible with God. If you focus on problems, you'll have more problems. When you focus on possibilities, you'll have more opportunities. So I held on to the possibility of having a changed life. And I prayed to God to show me an opportunity that will help me fulfill my dreams. And all those prayers were answered when my girlfriend Nell was invited by Miss Clarissa Escobar Dunan. So sabit lang po talaga ako. Si Nell po talaga yung na-invite. We were presented the business of USANA for 7 long hours. Miss Clarissa was just a business center at that time, and Miss Lichelle Yambao was just a sharer. But right now, they are Diamond and Executive One-Star Diamond Directors respectively. At first, we were skeptic about the nature of the business. But eventually, we understood the system and how it works. This was the opportunity I've been waiting for. But there was a problem. Ask me what? I only had 50 pesos in my wallet. And that's all I got. That was my net worth already. But then God loves us so much. He sent an angel to lend us money. And it was the first time we borrowed money from other people. And then without hesitation, we started our USANA business. But the beginning of our journey was not that easy. First, we had no experience in sales and in multi-level marketing. In fact, we are very negative about network marketing at the time. And then since we are just starting in the province, there is no training center or no office at all. And we had no results yet. So people don't believe in us when we say that our lives will change because we have no proof to show them. And since we are just creating a system, we experience terrible things such as no proper sleep, no full meals, and sometimes no full bath. That's because our schedule was so hectic. We have to do the presentations from 8 in the morning all the way down to 12 midnight. And right after the last set of presentation, we have to meet with the core leaders up to 3 o'clock in the morning. So those are the sacrifices that we made starting the business. And lastly, and I think this was the hardest one, we experienced massive rejections from people closest to us. They mocked us, and they even laughed at us. And I know you're experiencing that as well. Believe me, when I got my first pay-in, I got 46 solid rejections. But this is what I realized. There will be haters. There will be doubters. There will be non-believers. And then there will be you proving them wrong. Just remember all the sacrifices, all the pain, the rejections, the sufferings, the sleepless nights, the hunger, the exhaustion, the lack of result. They are all but temporary. Tell someone beside you, they are temporary. You will not be like that forever. Your lives will change, just like what happened to most of the leaders here. And because of the hard work, persistence, and the wonderful opportunity that is USANA, I was able to send 2 of my siblings and help them finish college in Ateneo de Naga University. And right now, another younger brother of mine is still in his 3rd year, also in Ateneo. Before, we have the old house to shelter us, but now, we have a new home. I will never forget The genuine happiness on the face of my parents the first time they turned the key to the front door of our new home. And when I was in Manila, I received a text message from my father. He told me, "Thank you very much, son. Ang ganda, ang luwag, at ang presko sa bahay natin. We are so proud of you." And all the sacrifices, the challenges that I had, it all went back. But then I said to myself, it is all worth it. It is all worth it. Before, I was confined to toilets for me to clean. But now, I have the entire world to explore. At a young age, I was able to walk the steps of the Great Wall of China, be able to view historic places in Sanya, Beijing, and Macau. I was able to enjoy the rides and be amused by the theme parks of Disneyland, Universal Studios Singapore, and Legoland Malaysia, cross countries by sea, onboard luxury cruises such as Superstar Virgo and Royal Caribbean International Cruise. And I was also able to enjoy luxurious lifestyles in different hotels, in different countries, and I was able to surf while on board a cruise ship. Oh boy, those experiences were so amazing. And because of USANA, I was able to get my first dream car. And I was also able to pull off a magical proposal to the girl of my dreams. And just 2 weeks from now, we will be exchanging our vows and get married. I'm just so thankful that we have USANA with us as we enter the next chapter of our life. All of this were paid for by our USANA business. Thank you, USANA. Now, I know most of you here are just starting the business. Can I have a raise of hand of those starters, please? All right. And I know a lot of you here are facing challenges and difficulties at the time. Can I have a raise of hand? And I know some of you are starting to doubt if this business is for you, right? And maybe quite a few are on the verge of quitting. If you belong to those group, let me tell you this, listen carefully. 3 to 5 years from now, if you stay with USANA, you will be saying these exact words to yourself. I still remember the days I prayed for the things that I have now. Now, isn't that worth reminiscing? If it was possible for us, it would be possible for you too. A friend of mine once asked me and once told me, "Jerome, ibang-iba ka na ngayon. Anong sikreto mo?" Well, at the time, I was not ready to tell him the secret. But I think I might be ready to tell you the secret right now. You want to know the secret? But promise me, you won't tell anybody outside this arena, okay? Okay, here's my secret. I am Superman. I always regard myself as Superman, as a superhero. You know, superheroes, they are very good people and their only intention is to help others, especially those in need. They don't back down in times of adversities. They change people's lives and they live a life of significance. They are never forgotten. As a matter of fact, you don't need fancy costumes to become a superhero. Or you don't need superpowers to become a superhero. All you need to have is the genuine interest to help others. In fact, I know some of these superheroes. These are the people who changed my life for the better. These are my personal superheroes. Because of them, my life was never the same. And because of them, I changed for the better. They showed me how to maximize my potential and be the best version of myself, to live life for others, to serve, and to change people's lives. I know most of you here have your personal superheroes as well. The good thing about USANA is that more and more superheroes are being created each and every single day because of USANA. These are just some of the leaders in my team. And as superheroes, we have a common goal. And that is to help other people retire rich and happy in all aspects of life. Before I end, I would like to share to you a short story. There was a man who was walking along the beach at one low tide. He noticed there are thousands of starfish scattered on the wet sand, dying because of the scorching heat of the sun. The man thought, this is so sad. Thousands of starfish have to die today. It's too bad one man cannot save them all. And then he continued to walk on the beach, and he found a barefooted woman picking up starfish one by one and throwing them back into the sea. The man said, "Woman, why are you picking those starfish one by one and throw it back into the sea? Can't you see? There are thousands of them. You cannot even make a dent in the number of starfish that will die today. What difference are you going to make?" The woman just smiled, picked up another starfish, threw it back into the sea, and replied, "Well, that's going to make a difference to that one." Picked up another starfish, and to this one, as she threw it back into the sea. We may not be able to save everybody or change the world, but we can change one life at a time. Make a difference in the lives of others by letting them experience true health and true wealth through USANA. In that way, you can all be superheroes. Now here's a challenge to all of us. Are we willing to continue the mission started by Dr. Myron Wentz to have a world free from pain, suffering, and disease? If you said yes and you're ready to take on the challenge, can you please stand up? Now I know even heroes have their own models, so I want you to look at a person that you regard as your personal superhero. It can be your upline or your mentor or somebody that is able to make a positive change in your life. Look at that person, look it in his face, and tell this to him: if you can do it, I can do it too. Let's all together say, if you can do it, I can do it too. One more time. If you can do it, I can do it too. Heroes, we are on a mission. And that mission starts with all of us. Thank you very much. God bless everyone.